especially to our Sikh and Hindu communities in Parliament and across the United Kingdom, for this very special reception to mark Vaisakhi, one of the most important dates in the Sikh and Hindu calendars. Vaisakhi is an occasion when families and friends come together to renew their bonds of community. So I hope this evening's conversations help strengthen the bridges between faith and communities and public institutions. It is a happy Vaisakhi. I want you to enjoy the evening. I think it's absolutely magnificent. And I've got to say, when I was in the Midlands last Thursday, I went to the university and I was so impressed about the communities, the community cohesion, and how it brings people together. To go to the University of Wolverhampton, to see how many people do not travel that far to attend the university. And the fact that that university has reached out to communities and have brought communities together, and people who are leaving and staying to absolutely continue to support their own communities. It was so important for me to go. I was so impressed. And I've got to say thank you. And thank you for the history of the Sikh and Hindu communities, for what you have done to help support the United Kingdom. Whether that's been in wars, whether the First or Second World War, but the fact you are here to help rebuild the United Kingdom. I think it's so important, and we mustn't forget that great contribution. And of course, I think it's important to mention the Punjab restaurant on their 80th anniversary. And I just hope that I'll be able to try some of the great food that I've had in the past. So can I say, ensure that we have my heartfelt best wishes to you, your family and friends, for a happy, safe and peaceful festival. Can I say thank you, and thank you for attending tonight. Good to see everybody. Thank you, everybody.
We're just going to listen to some Geetham first for the first 10 minutes, and the speeches will then commence. My name's Sonia Kumar. I'm the Member of Parliament for Dudley, and I'm co-hosting this with Mike Wood. So I'll now put the floor to the beautiful Geetham to her head. Thank you. Vaiguru Ji da Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji di Fateh. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome here to Parliament this evening, and thank you for those that have travelled across the country, including just getting across to London because of the tube strikes. I would like to thank, beginning to start with thanking the Rag Jatha Barbar, who've done such a beautiful start today to today's proceedings. My name is Sonia Kumar, for those that missed me at the beginning, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Dudley. I'm the Parliamentary Private Secretary to the Cabinet Office, and I'm grateful for the Speaker to be able to host us today in this beautiful room, and to my neighbouring MP, Mike Wood, who's the Shadow Cabinet Minister for the Cabinet as well, so both of us Cabinet, who has kindly co-hosted this event. I'd also like to thank the British Sikh Consortium, in particular Jasdev Rai Singh, Kiran Rajdev, who has helped organise this event, and Punjab restaurant Amrit Maan, who has helped the catering today. We're here today to celebrate Vaisakhi, one of the most important and joyful festivals of the Sikh calendar. Vaisakhi is a time of gratitude, reflection and unity, and it marks both the festival of harvest and the birth of the Khalsa in 1699, a defining moment in Sikh history. The formation of the Khalsa challenges inequality and brought people together across divisions across India of caste, background and region. It's a message that reminds us, as powerful as it did yesterday, to live with honesty, to stand up against justice and serve others selflessly. At time of division and turbulence, these values have never mattered more. Whether it's at home in our communities or across the world, Vaisakhi reminds us of the importance of unity, compassion and shared responsibility. At the centre principle of Sikhism is seva, or selfless seva. In Sikh communities, this is lived out every day, whether through preparing meals in the langar hall, supporting those in need, or offering kindness to others. The langar found in every gurdwara is a powerful symbol of equality, where everyone sits together and shares a meal regardless of background. Here in the UK, the Sikh community, while small in number, we make an outsized and invaluable contribution to national life, shaping our NHS, strengthening our economy, serving in our armed forces, or enriching public service across the United Kingdom. Gurdwaras across the country continue to support local communities, providing food, advice, and practical help to those who most need it. During the times like the COVID crisis, the Sikh volunteers have consistently stepped up forward to help others, regardless of faith or background. Vaisakhi's message goes beyond religion, encourages us to act with courage, fairness and kindness in our daily lives. As we celebrate today, let us reflect on how we carry these values forward, supporting one another and strengthening our communities. In closing, Vaisakhi is a reminder for all of us to be united, compassionate and committed to serving others. And on that note, it gives me a great pleasure to invite my mentor, my friend, and a person that's helped me through my whole entire political career. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Sikhs, one of the most important and respected figures in British politics. He's widely trusted across Parliament as a calm and thoughtful voice who focuses on practical solutions and no political drama. Over many years, he's held a series of senior roles in and out of government, always driven by commitment to public service. And it is from him that I've been handed over the baton to hold this Vaisakhi event, and I'm hopefully making him proud. So please put your hands together and welcoming our speaker for this evening, the Right Honourable Pat McFadden, the Secretary of State of Work and Pensions.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Friends, it's a great honour to be with you tonight to represent His Majesty's government at this wonderful parliamentary celebration of Vaisakhi. And it is also, alongside the great honour, a small relief to no longer be the organiser of the event and to have passed the baton to Sonia and to thank her for all her work in putting this together. Sonia is a parliamentary neighbour, a friend, a parliamentary colleague, and one of the wonderful and very large intake of new MPs elected at the last general election. So a huge thank you to Sonia for her work in hosting us tonight. I also want to thank Mr. Speaker for allowing us to use the wonderful state rooms to host this event. And to me, as somebody who's served in Parliament for a long time, it's a fitting location because it's the absolute heart of the House of Commons. There are many rooms around this palace and its surrounding estate, but this is the right place and the best place to host this event. I want also to thank the British Sikh Consultative Forum for the huge part they play in organising this event year in and year out. And of course, because it's a Vaisakhi event, because it's a Punjabi event, because it's a Sikh event, we have food. And so I also want to thank the Punjab restaurant for the wonderful food that they have provided us with tonight. Now we're here for a reason. We're here for an important reason, which is to celebrate Vaisakhi here in Parliament as part of this Vaisakhi season. And it's celebrated all over the country. On Sunday, just a couple of days ago, I was honoured to join my friend Warinder Jus, my parliamentary neighbour on the other side of the constituency, as we walked together with many, many friends, some of whom are here tonight, on the Wolverhampton Nagar Kirtan procession. This has been happening in Wolverhampton not for years, but for decades. And it is an amazing cultural event every year in the life of the city. And within the Nagar Kirtan is embodied the values of Sikhi. We all walk together. There is langar provided along the way. The march is peaceful. It is happy. You chat to whoever you are walking alongside. It is a wonderful event to be part of, and I am grateful every year to be able to be there. Now, as Sonia said, Vaisakhi is also an opportunity to celebrate the successes and the contribution of the Sikh community to the United Kingdom. And it is a story of success. It's a story of many people, and they will be here tonight, or if not them, then their children and grandchildren, many of whom came to the country with not very much, but worked hard, became successful, whether that's in business, in law, in finance, and yes, in politics too. And it's a great pleasure for me to be able to say that we have 11 MPs from a Sikh background here as part of the Parliament today. I remember when there were none. Today we have 11, and it's an enormous success and an enormous tribute to the success of the Sikh community. Now, every year this celebration picks a theme and asks us to think a little more deeply about it. And I'm pleased that this year's theme is about inequalities, particularly around health and disability. And this is a subject close to my heart in my role as the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. I always say that welfare is where policy meets life. And for those who do have a health condition or have a disability, I want the department I run to be ambitious and to have as its core aim the maximum participation in society and in work, because we should never write anyone off, and we should always have that ambition and aim. And every day when I go into the department, that aim is at the centre of what we do. In all the policies, in all the efforts, in all the services that we deliver. So it's a good aim to have and a good theme to have as part of this year's Vaisakhi celebrations. And reducing inequality should be part of our aim, because after all, we want a society where everyone can take part and not just a few. And it's a fitting theme because it's right at the heart of the values of SIKH. Those values of seva, of working hard, of giving back, of making sure that no one is left behind. And since we started having this celebration many years ago, we've also got more Sikh schools around the country, Sikh ethos schools. And I had the pleasure of visiting the Khalsa Academy in my own constituency just a few days ago, and talking to the executive head, the chief executive, about her ambitions for the children at the school so that they could all participate fully, that they could be the best version of themselves. And she was fired with ambition that all of those children, whether they were Sikh or non-Sikh, should make the most of their lives and to use the school and the platform of education to give them a chance to do so. So we are here to celebrate the Sikh community. We are here to celebrate Vaisakhi. But we are also here to celebrate values and a great story of success. And so I want to wish all of you the most happy Vaisakhi, and with my gratitude at giving me the honour and pleasure of coming to address you this evening. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you very much.
I know in your busy time, it's just quite difficult to take the time out, but we really appreciate you coming today. So just a few questions around. Our main theme is today inequalities of health. And I think you play a prominent role in listening to all these policies and keeping not having a biased opinion, obviously, listening to both sides. So what's the latest at the moment, if we can talk about maybe inequalities of health, especially with areas of deprivation and things like that? Is there anything that's going on there?
What I would say is, look, health is it's got to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
The government's in charge. Government's got to deliver health.
Yes.
There shouldn't be inequalities in health.
Yeah.
What we should be looking to is supporting all communities, all different areas, especially areas of deprivation.
Absolutely.
And what I would say is, I can't get dragged into the politics,
No.
I think we could all be supportive that we must overcome inequalities.
Yeah, and obviously the MPs play a crucial role in identifying what's the need in their constituencies. So that we will be interviewing some of the MPs today as well. But in terms of, do you come across a lot of policies related to special needs, children in schools and young people in education? Is there a lot being done in that area, in your view? You don't have to give me a biased opinion, but is there a lot of...
I think as I am a member of Parliament.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a constituency. I represent my constituents, and SEND is the biggest issue.
It is,
that comes across my desk, and the meeting with parents is every surgery. I will always have at least one, if not three, different parents with absolutely coming with the issues on their children.
Yes,
And the fact that they're not getting the support,
Yeah.
it is something that's so important. It's one of my passions, is to ensure that we make sure that parents are being left. No child should be missing education.
Yes.
No matter what the issues are, and we should be more supportive. And that's my view as a member of Parliament.
Well, that's amazing, and it's really good to know that all these points are covered and you get to hear all of them and, and give us opinions about them. But so thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you.
Really welcome you here today, and please go and enjoy.
Well, welcome to my house. That's what I
Thank you.
should be saying. No,
Wonderful place to be in. Thank you.
Thank
Good evening, everybody. I think every single person knows here that we've got 11 Sikh MPs, and one of those Sikh MPs has gone above and beyond. She's the first Sikh MP to be a minister in 17 years. I'm proud to call her my friend. She's been my colleague. She's stood shoulder to shoulder when we've had a good gossip about things that have gone pear-shaped, and when things have generally gone well, we've celebrated together. So it gives me with great honour and great privilege to come to bring together today. She's also now my boss as a cabinet minister, SIKH Kaur. Thank you.
Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh, Vaisakhi Diya, Lakh Lakh Vidaya Saaryan Nu. Thank you, Sonia, for those really kind words. Pat, I can never get over how amazing your Punjabi pronunciation is. Clearly being around Punjabis has really put you in good stead. I'm the very proud Member of Parliament for Southampton Test. I think I'm here in front of you because, as Sonia mentioned, I'm the first Sikh minister in 17, 18 years, first female Sikh minister. But it's not really about the title, it's what you do with it, right? And actually, more importantly, this government saw a record number of Sikhs being elected to Parliament. And Sonia mentioned the Fab 11. And actually, they're my Sikh family, and we're there for each other, and each and every one of them make our community proud every single day. And each and every one of them fought hard to be here, and it's amazing that all of you give them your support. My great-granddad is someone called Sundar Singh Sagar, and in the middle of the last century, he actually helped change the law. So Sikh men could wear the star, their turbans, while driving a motorcycle and while being a bus conductor. And I think it's amazing that his great-granddaughter gets to be a lawmaker. And each of our Sikh MPs have their own story, and I know work tirelessly for you and all of their community. Vaisakhi always has a really special place in my heart, particularly because most people can't pinpoint the exact moment they got involved in politics. But for me, many, many years ago, I was actually volunteering at a local Southampton Nather Kirtan when I bumped into my local MP. And that conversation transformed my thinking into the power of politics and how for me, Sikh values are intrinsically linked with Labour values, and how if our founding faith principle is seva, what better way to do that than serving others in our community? And now this is a room full of people that dedicate their lives to seva, and I wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you for your seva. We have men and women keeping us safe, working in our police and our military. We've got Sikhs working in our NHS saving lives, Sikh teachers teaching our children, Sikh looking after our elderly, Sikh charities, whether it's feeding the homeless or raising money for good causes in and out our communities. And we're driven by this belief that seva, being in the service of others, is the most rewarding thing you can do in your life. And in a time when the world has a lot of conflict and division within our communities and a lot of hate, I see Sikhs actually calling for peace and actively trying to bring peace to the world, bringing communities together in unity and actually spreading love over hate. And it makes me really proud to not only be Sikh, but to be British. We often get, especially now, there's a whole debate around what is British identity, and for me, the best of British is what Sikhs do day in and day out within our local communities, and as a Sikh minister, nothing makes me prouder. So we're here to celebrate the birth of the Khalsa and our amazing religion, but also the huge contribution that Sikhs make up and down our country in all our communities, and I'm proud to be part of that, and I'll continue to do my seva to the best of my ability for as long as I can. Happy Vaisakhi, Vaiguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you very much.
We are, as you know, our theme today is inequalities in health, in access, yeah?
Yes.
So I just want to know what you can tell us a little bit about areas of deprivation and how inequalities in health are met, in terms of access to the National Health Service, and access for the special needs children, What accessories do you know
Well,
that could be helped?
I always pick up in the House of Lords any issue that concerns the minority communities.
Yes, yes.
You know, whether it's in a National Health Service or schools or even colonial history.
Yes,
Because
yes.
I feel very strongly that a kid should be taught the colonial history.
Yes,
And
yes.
on the 100th anniversary of the massacre of Amritsar, I made a documentary which is on the YouTube, 1
Yes.
hour long in English. It is called Massacre in the Holy City. So if you go on there, I don't make any money out of it because it's on a YouTube and so on. So I always pick up any issue. My previous life, before I joined the House of Lords, I
Yes.
was a councillor for 22 years, council leader for many years, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So I know how the local
How it
government
works,
and
yes.
so on.
Yes.
And of course, being here, I'm a member of the Amnesty International. I'm always picking up the issue on the human rights, etc. So a couple of weeks ago, I was picked up that some of the care workers who came to this country in a good faith that to work hard, looking after our elderly and vulnerable.
Yes,
and
yes.
now the government is changing the goalposts and said you can't stay permanently until 10 years ago. And I
Yes.
picked that up with the government. I think that is a
And they
wrong-
play a huge part in the country,
well,
running care homes.
I am a
isn't it?
Labour member. It's my Labour government.
Yeah.
So I feel that they're being betrayed that way. So on. So I always pick up these human rights and equality issues in the House of Lords, and I'm going to keep on.
So it's great to know that you pick up the the inclusion and the inclusivity, the equal
Absolutely.
opportunities that everybody has.
I do.
And you bring it, to the awareness, what's happening in the
Awareness of
community.
the government and
Absolutely, yeah.
the people, the wider people.
Yes. And do you work with the organizations like the Gurdwaras as well?
No, I'm not
Okay.
connected with any
community
I do
places.
go to my Gurdwara regular on Sunday,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm not connected. I'm not a committee member or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you're doing a great piece of work. Thank you very much for your contributions, and do enjoy
Thank
the
you.
atmosphere today.
We do have another minister here that would like to do an impromptu 2-minute speech, which I think will be fantastic as he's come to support us. So Zabir, I've got to know Zabir from the beginning on my first day or second day I met him. And both of us are health. He's a GP, I'm a physiotherapist. So we had good bonding, how we were going to take over the world. So I'm really glad that he's come today to share the word of Vaisakhi. So can I please introduce you to Zabir Ahmed, Dr. Zabir Ahmed, the Health Minister, and hopefully future, as he goes on, to be still doing consultancy work, I think, as well. So continue to be a consultant. So thank you.
Vahi Guruji ka Kalsa, Vahi Guruji ke Fateh. So you've had the Glaswegian Catholic, and then you've had the Punjabi Sikh. So now you're going to get the Glasgow Punjabi Muslim, just for the whole diversity package. I'm really pleased to be here and to see so many friends and familiar faces. Now, we may have a record number of Sikh MPs, but I've got one challenge. And this is a challenge that two of my Gurdwaras in my constituency, I have the largest Sikh population in Scotland in my constituency, give me a challenge to do every single day. And that is, why do we not have a Scottish Sikh MP? So that's the next challenge for everyone here and everyone in my community. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਵੀ ਬੋਲਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਐਮਪੀ ਬਣੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਣਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਓ and it's so important for us Punjabi Sikhs to be here in places like this because we are as much a part of the fabric and, as Pat said, contributed to the fabric of places like this over generations. And if I could reflect on something that Satvir said about unity and service, the Sikh community in Glasgow South West in Scotland exemplifies that like no other. I was having seva in the Gurdwara only on Sunday and having good banter and frank conversations with friends. And the ability for us to be in Parliament, to feel very personally the pains of our community and the relationships we have worldwide as a Labour government allows those conversations to happen, even when they are difficult, over human rights, over issues both here and abroad, and particularly around the increased spike in hatred that we are seeing. I'm a Muslim, but I know that many Sikh brothers, end up, facing the barrage of anti-Muslim hatred. Because funnily enough, if you're a bigot, you can't differentiate between one brown person or another, one turban or another. And that just exemplifies to me how much we are in this fight together. Because what starts with me or starts with you has another victim in another place on another day. So we must root it out from its source, from its origin, and in doing so, we must stand together, and it's so important to stand together on days like this in particular, days that are special for you and special for me. And of course, separately to that, as a health minister, we know the challenges in the Punjabi community, because we might share different religions, but we share the same genes, so we've got the same risk factors when it comes to all the things we know about that we all suffer from. And it's so important for me as a health minister to make sure we've got equitable access to prevention, to treatment, to the new technologies that sometimes are quite specific to certain communities and how they perceive their health. So wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, Sonia, for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I'll even forgive you calling me a GP, but never mind.
Good evening.
So if you could just introduce yourself from which constituency are you
So
from?
my name is Sarah Coombs. I'm the Labour Member of Parliament for West Bromwich, which is in Sandwell, which has a very, very large Sikh
Oh my
community.
gosh, I was born there.
Represents.
Thank you.
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful. Okay, so our main theme today is inequalities of health. So obviously being quite a multicultural, diverse area back in West Bromwich, Birmingham in itself, how are you dealing with inequalities in terms of, say, digitalised training and the waiting periods for the access to NHS services?
Definitely. Well, a really horrible fact is that Sandwell has the third lowest healthy life expectancy in the entire country, just
Really?
51 years healthy life expectancy,
Okay.
when the UK average is 59 years. And I think a large part of that is because of our diverse communities who frankly don't always get the same access to NHS healthcare,
Yes.
particularly as we know there are particular conditions which affect different communities, particularly diabetes and things like that. So I've been working with the local NHS to try and cut down the waiting list. Since about July 2024, the waiting list in Sandwell has come down 25%.
So something's working.
So something is working, and we're trying to get people who've waited long term for operations, particularly musculoskeletal issues, which often mean that people can't work and are in
Yes.
pain day to day. So
Yes.
we've really tried to push on that as well. And I've been working with the Gurdwaras, with the local community, for people who may have language barriers, particularly with access to health services, to make sure that the NHS is really reaching out across all communities.
And is there quite a few awareness programs within the communities and community organisations where people can visit and maybe learn about access to health in their own languages? Is there a lot of that goes on as well? Or?
Yeah, definitely. So there's an organisation called SIKH Helpline in my community, which is based at one of the Gurdwaras in West Bromwich. Now they
Yes.
help people with lots of different issues, addiction issues, but also with health issues more generally, and they point people towards access to services. And in Sandwell we do try and have different language, so Punjabi, Urdu, different languages, about information about how to access services, because we know, access to healthcare should be a basic right for everyone and should be equal for everyone.
Absolutely.
So we're trying to make that happen.
Thank you very much for that, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
pleasure meeting.
I said GP, I thought, oh, sugar lumps. It's definitely surgeon. I just want to say thank you to a couple of the MPs that have dropped in and dropped out. So we've got Steve Race, Abina, Valerie Vaz, Alex Ballinger, Tan Singh, Afsar Khan, Warinder, who I can still see here, Stephen Timms, Wendy Morton, Shana Ali, Antonia Bance, Fred Thomas, Marcus Campbell-Savers, Catherine Atkinson, and Uma Kamari. So any of the MPs, put your hand up if I haven't caught your name up. And of course, David. So thank you so much for the MPs to be supporting this. This isn't just an event for Sikhs, it's also for non-Sikhs becoming into this forum and understanding what Vaisakhi is and how important it really is to all of us. Now, it gives me great pleasure to move away from the politicians, so now to put forward to the General Secretary of the British Sikh Consultative Forum and the organiser of this event, Jasdev Singh Rai. Thank you.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the 19th Vaisakhi at Westminster, hosted by our esteemed Right Honourable Speaker of the House, Lindsay Hoyle MP. He spoke very well, and he speaks almost at every one of our events, which is a real honour. And thank you very much for offering your hospitality again. And I have to say, I want to especially thank your very helpful staff, very friendly staff, who enabled this event. And thank you, Sonia Kumar MP, from the very helpful constituencies of Wolverhampton. We've always had a sponsor from Wolverhampton. And Mike Wood MP for sponsoring the event, second year running now. Of course, this is the 19th, and Pat McFadden used to sponsor it before. It is my privilege to warmly invite all our ministers, party leaders, members of Parliament and House of Lords to celebrate Vaisakhi with us. We thank you for all the hard work you do on behalf of us. From all of us at the British Sikh Consultative Forum, we are honoured by so many guests from Gurdwaras, organisations, the community and other interfaith organisations, despite efforts by the TFL to sabotage it. But nevertheless, people came here. Vaisakhi is an important milestone event in the history of the Sikhs. It is the event that set the Khalsa on a life of discipline, compassion, hard work, resilience and welfare of all humanity. We try and concentrate on a general issue within the British community that we would like the government and our political representatives to take note of. Health inequalities are affecting many communities, especially from the ethnic minorities and the British working class regions. They have been recorded by many academics and research institutions. These inequalities cover a wide range, such as access to healthcare and health outcomes. Outcomes such as growth in children in deprived areas, mental health, general well-being, infant mortality, pregnancy outcomes, life expectancy, preventable mortality, and a few other markers are highlighted by the government's own research. It is our belief that the government is addressing these as best as it can. But, however, we think faith communities and faith institutions can help to address some of these issues. Communities, welfare, and looking after each other, being helpful, and voluntary work are some of the strengths of faith communities, whether they are Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, anywhere really. And it is irrespective of the faith or no faith. We believe that a government working with faith institutions to achieve health inequalities can reduce health inequalities to some extent. This can be by utilizing the premises of faith institutions, sponsoring health events, increasing awareness of common health issues, help to set up well-being places, working with faith communities to improve dietary problems and conductive research, etc. We know that in Gurdwaras there is considerable scope to set up awareness, help systems, education, and much more, especially with many in the younger generation now educated here and working in the health professions. Our youth are less interested in community politics and more eager to get involved in meaningful voluntary work. We hope that our MPs and members of the House of Lords, our ministers and government representatives will take away the message from today's Vaisakhi function. Faith communities have a lot to offer. We are there to help for the general welfare of British communities. Government and health institutions have the know-how. Together, we can tackle health inequalities. Thank you again, everyone, for attending and joining us in this very important celebration. Happy Vaisakhi. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Good evening to you, if you'd like to.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Antonia Bance. I'm the MP for Tipton and Wednesbury in the West Midlands.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome to our Vaisakhi event today. Just a few questions we're going to ask you. And the main topic today is health inequalities. And it's just in your constituency, how do you identify what the health inequalities and pockets of deprivation are?
Well, being a Sandwell MP, we're a low-income, low-wage area, and the health inequalities can be pretty profound. So the key thing that we make sure that we do is we understand who our local residents are,
Yes.
what their backgrounds are, and as you know, we have a very significant Sikh community in Sandwell, but we have significant other communities as well.
Yes.
So making sure that we understand the different needs of different communities, and we've particularly thought about older and younger people, about people with disabilities, people who may struggle to access the healthcare that they need.
So you cover all the 9 protected characteristics.
Absolutely that.
Wonderful to know. In terms of special needs education and what's available for special needs children, is there a process where you actually work with the councils, and they've got the data of what the needs are at the moment, and how effectively are those needs met, and is it a long process? Sorry, too many questions in the one go.
No, and I mean, one of the things that I think we've been really clear about since we came into office in 2024 is that the special needs system doesn't work for too many of our children. Too many children are waiting too long for the right support, the right placement, the right school place. Too many parents are having to fight so hard to get their kids into the right place.
Yeah.
That's true in Sandwell as it is everywhere. Now, the Education Secretary has proposed some changes that will be coming in slowly over the next 5 years to make sure that we have a special educational needs system that's fit for purpose. What that means is more experts, speech and language therapy, educational psychologists,
all the
and getting
external
help.
agencies,
Exactly, getting help earlier along. It means making sure every single mainstream secondary school is inclusive, and of course, it means making sure that children with more significant needs have the specialist placements that they need.
That's really good to hear. And also in terms of the ageism, the elderly. So there's different communities you actually work for, different age groups. Do you work with the religious organisations as well, and visit the places to actually see how they're dealing with the situation? Because it's quite a massive discrepancy in the way the support is actually. They get the support and how quickly they get it.
I'm very lucky. We've got some fantastic religious institutions. I've been to mosques, churches, synagogues, gurdwaras since I've been elected. I'm particularly, you're talking about older people. I went to the most fantastic older people's group at Hilltop Community Centre, just between Wednesbury and West Brom, a couple of weeks ago. And they were learning the group. It was a gentleman's group, and they were learning bilingually in English and Punjabi about Alzheimer's and dementia under the support of a health promotion worker from one of our local voluntary agencies in Sandwell. I was so pleased to go along and know that this work is happening.
Great. Thank you very much for all the information, and a pleasure having you here.
So I can't do MPs and not do Lords, and I think that'd be very remiss of me not to include our first Sikh council leader and a friend of mine that has come to a lot of my door knocking sessions, has canvassed during my general election to make sure I was one of the 11 Sikhs to be elected. So with great honour and privilege, please can I welcome Lord Kuldeep Sahota.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Sri Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Kirtan Jatha. The Kirtan, I could sit here and listen all day. It was so serene and peaceful, and I congratulate them. So, the way they have performed the Kirtan there. I've been in politics for many, many years, actually. Yes, I was a councillor for many years and a council leader, and the first turban-wearing council leader as well, somebody told me once. And one of the first, the protest I went into Hyde Park was back in 77 or 78. That was when the issue was about the helmet and on the motorbike. That was my very, very first protest. And ever since I've been going on all kinds of protests and carrying on. I have written a speech, but I don't think this was about the meaning of Vaisakhi and what he meant. But I think when I saw Pai Saab here, I think it's better that let him explain what it means really. I grew up in India. I was about 13, 14 when I came to this country. My father was here, and I lived to Vaisakhi, every Vaisakhi for so many years. And every year my mother would give me 1 rupee or 8 paisas or something, and we will go for jalebiyan in there, and then we will go for the mela, and then that's what 1 rupee in those days, I'm talking about 60 years ago or something. This is what, and I actually lived, and every mela, we looked forward to it really, and it meant, and can I also say that this is very apt image of whoever is responsible for it. And the first thing that impressed me was the image of a farmer in the gathering his wheat and then there are Sikhism and Khalsa. And this is, I think, I better leave it there now, and I'll let the others, and Bhai Sahib and the others have their say. And thank you very much for the invitation. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Sri Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Our main theme today is health inequalities, and with that we just want to know a little bit more as to how you deal with pockets of deprivation, where the health inequalities are actually, in your opinion, lie at the current moment of time.
So obviously we see a lot of inequalities within our communities, obviously some of them are geographic, but so many of them are demographic in terms of obviously origin, and particularly ethnic origin. We see, particularly with, of course, a lot of people from the South Asian community, some of the issues around increased susceptibility to diabetes and the effects of that, the complications. And so obviously working with the local health authorities to make sure that our health services aren't a one size fits all,
which
that,
it can't.
that obviously men's health is different to women's health.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
actually, and then obviously once you start breaking down the communities, then each section of it has particular particular needs that need different responses.
And I think one particular problem that a lot of people are facing in different areas is that the waiting times, whilst, yes, you know, the NHS waiting times, and also the digitalised system of actually accessing appointments. And not everybody is aware of how to use that digital system, especially the elderly. So they get quite frustrated. So is there enough money being put into funding to train, give training to some of the elderly even in how to use a digitalised approach in obtaining appointments?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when digital systems work well, they're very effective, they're very efficient, and they can be very convenient for a lot of people. But if you're not comfortable using digital systems, or particularly actually if you're not particularly comfortable with English as a first language, it can add additional barriers. Whereas obviously, if you're able to speak to someone face to face, it can be that much easier to access services. So particularly in this transition period, we need to make sure that those options to actually speak to a real person are still available.
And have that access within, you know, a short frame of time rather than long waiting times. But thank you very much for that. It's been a pleasure meeting you. And we shall see you. Please do go and help yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the theme this year is health inequalities, and I'd love for you to be introduced you to Rosie Bowler, who is a clinical psychologist specialising in working with women, young people and children and their families. He's the Director of Kola Psychology Services and representative of the SIKH Human Rights Group and SIKH Neurodiversity Network. Please can I welcome Rosie.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you, Sonia, for the introduction and for co-hosting this event tonight. My name is Rosie Bowler and I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'm here today representing the SIKH Human Rights Group, which is an NGO with special consultative status at the United Nations Economic and Social Council. It has also been given accreditation to participate in the Human Rights Council sessions at the UN. Vaisakhi is a celebration of community, of renewal and of collective purpose. And it is in that spirit that I want to share with you what happens when a Sikh-led organisation decides that no family should have to navigate the challenges of neurodiversity and disability alone. So the SIKH Neurodiversity Network, a project by the SIKH Human Rights Group, was established in 2020 with a clear and urgent mission to support children and young people with special educational needs and disabilities and their families through community-based clubs, guidance and training delivered in partnership with local gurdwaras and services. Our aim is straightforward but profound. We want community spaces to be welcoming, nurturing and informed so that families from deprived areas and minority backgrounds can access the support they deserve, not just the support that they can actually find. In 2025 alone, we supported over 200 families across Southall, Slough and Luton, and that number continues to grow. So how do we do it? Through weekly special educational needs and disability music classes, so local schools within Southall have tabla and vajra classes, and after-school clubs. Through parent and carer support groups, drop-in coffee mornings, run alongside NHS medical teams, local authorities and national charities. Through training days delivered in both English and Punjabi for Granthis, so Gurdwara priests, Gurdwara committee members and the wider Sangat, so that our sacred spaces become equipped to welcome and support every family that walks through the door. We also run workshops on education, health and care plans. We help families understand their rights about disability benefits. And every week, our Disability Football Club brings young people together at Rectory Park in Ruislip, who are this season in the FA Middlesex Pan Disability Football Youth League. One parent recently told us, "I finally know what to ask for and where to go for support." And this is what this work is all about within the SIKH Neurodiversity Network. SIKH values have always understood something that policy frameworks are still catching up with, that the well-being of the individual is inseparable from the health of the community. As we say, Sarbat Tapala, the well-being of all. Our Gurdwaras are already places of enormous empathy, but empathy alone is not enough. Families with special educational needs and disabilities need systems, policies, and trained people around them. And the honest truth is that without adequate government support, community organisations like ours are filling a gap that should not exist and are doing so on their own goodwill, dedication, and limited resource. Imagine what becomes possible when faith institutions and government work together. When every Gurdwara has the infrastructure to support a neurodiverse family, whether that is having a sensory room, a wellbeing room. When community networks like ours are not the exception, but the expectation. That is the future we are building. And on an evening like this, in a place like this, I ask everyone here, whether you're a policymaker, a community leader, or simply someone who believes in a more equal society, to consider how you might help us build it. Thank you for your time. Vaisakhi Khalsa, Vaisakhi Fateh.
Good evening to you and welcome to the Vaisakhi event, and happy Vaisakhi to you.
Good evening to you, Zo. Happy Vaisakhi. Saariਆਂ ਨੂੰ Vaisakhi ਦੀਆਂ ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਵਧਾਈਆਂ. It's wonderful that we're back in Parliament, and we've just heard the Speaker's speech as well, that the Speaker is hosting us again in the Speaker's staterooms here in Parliament. So we have this annual event, and it's wonderful that the community is able to come together, and at the very heart of our Parliament, the People's Parliament, we have the Sikh festivals, the Sikh religion aspects actually brought out into the mainstream as well, so that's wonderful. And I think is at the time when we commemorate the founding of the Khalsa, we reflect upon those values, those teachings, and also it's about making sure that the Sikh community is very much integrated within the wider community, but also retaining our distinct identity, our distinct form. Because as the Guru said, Khalsa mero roop hai khas, Khalse mein ho karo nivas. The Khalsa is my special form, and I reside within the Khalsa.
Great, thank you. And it's wonderful to see. And you mentioned integration. Look at the number of people we've got here from all sorts of backgrounds, and inclusion, diversity. We've got it all here. But our main theme is health inequalities. That's what our discussion is about today. So just wanted to ask you a few questions regarding the inequalities that exist in your constituency. How are you made aware of those? You work quite closely with the council, collect data in terms of waiting times and the problems that the residents have in just gaining appointments for particular operations and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of health inequalities, having served for the last 9 years as the Member of Parliament for Slough, and previously indeed as a councillor for a decade, working with the local authority, working also with the local health trust and the integrated care board, with local GPs, we try to make sure that we work collaboratively to tackle those health inequalities, to reduce inequalities, and also a lot of that happens here in Parliament as well. We bring that knowledge from our local areas into Parliament to request ministers, to request the government to make sure that it lessens the impact of inequalities so that we have a more fairer and more equal, more just society.
Okay, great, thank you. The other issues that we've come across is a lot of the refugee children. When they're 18, they have to go out and face the world on their own. And they sometimes come back and say it's really difficult for them to get housing, for them to get equal access as compared to other residents. Is there anything that's being done about their access and how they're thrown into the open, free world at the age of 18, but yet they've only been in the country for a few years?
I know, look, this is an issue that has been of huge concern, not just within the media, within social media, and for activists like your good self, but also here in Parliament. We have discussed and deliberated as to how we can assist those who are seeking refuge, those who are seeking asylum, especially children. And I know that also, just separately to that, even those within care, when they leave at 18, often they come across such huge issues and problems. And I know that recently there have been those that have been impacted by mental health issues,
Absolutely,
those
yeah.
who very tragically have taken their own lives as well. So it's important that the government continues that work with local communities to find a solution and to ensure that we have better outcomes, better health outcomes for those children and those who are just transitioning into adulthood.
Great, thank you very much for that, and enjoy the rest of your evening here.
Thank you very much. Happy Vaisakhi.
again.
It's by Mohinder Singh, who is the chair of this British Sikh Consortium Forum, and he has worked shoulder to shoulder with me since the last event and to this event. We've had lots of discussions of how we would like to set the team up, how we'd like to set the group up, how we'd like to set the day out. And he's been incredibly supportive throughout the whole entire journey, even if I'm a new MP who's just been elected in 2024. So thank you so much for being my partner in this and hand in hand. I will say Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh from me and hand over to him. Thank you.
Vaisakhi Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi Ji Ki Fateh. Distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, please accept the Sikh salutations. Vaisakhi Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi Ji Ki Fateh. A very happy Vaisakhi to all of us. For Punjabis of all faiths, Vaisakhi is a joyous cultural and agricultural festival. A thanksgiving for the spring harvest that was celebrated for centuries as Sikh farmers took stock and planned ahead. They sought blessings for future prosperity, ready to infuse their hard toil with spiritual reverence and hope. I quote from our sacred scripture, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Vaisakh Tiran Kyon Vadiya, Jinna Prem Bicho, Har Sajan Purkh Visar Ke Lagi Maya To. There's no time to explain, but I think we should all read that Vaisakhi. What does Vaisakhi mean? For Sikhs, Vaisakhi marks the founding of the Khalsa in 1699. Since the birth of Guru Nanak in 1469, the Sikh Gurus had been cultivating the teachings, practices and institutions of the Sikh Dharma. Through exemplary service and sacrifice, they also modeled faith as a lifelong practice. Through the Khalsa initiation, Guru Gobind Singh Ji exalted the disciples by forming a new collective, Sikh Panth, of committed faith practitioners who radiated the Guru's vision of human equality, integrity and dignity based on recognizing the oneness of God and all creation and the fact that our life on this planet is actually preparation for the afterlife. The spirit of equality was exemplified in the Panj Pyare, the first 5 initiates of Khalsa, coming from diverse regions and occupations. They were raised to equal exalted dignity, challenging entrenched castes and status hierarchies. Their names evoked virtues that all people can emulate, i.e. daya, compassion, dharam, virtuous living, righteous conduct, himmat, courage, mohkam, steadfast, detachment, and finally sahib, leadership and self-mastery. When such virtues reign abundantly in our mind, it gets liberated from ego's stronghold, and one finds inner dignity and sovereignty. The names Sikh and Kaur, Singh and Kaur, which Sikh males and females are blessed with, affirm the capacity for wise leadership within every individual, irrespective of social status or background. Similarly, the articles of faith, Panj, Kakar, and Dastar are not mere symbols, but practical reminders of spiritual and civic responsibility, where good governance begins with good self-governance in the mind. More than a ceremony, the Amrit Sanchar initiation is a catalyst for deep personal transformation. It blesses each initiate with Naam in the form of 2 mantras. The Mool mantra, the opening sentence of Sikh scripture, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and Gur Mantar, Vaheguru. This daily powerful practice aligns our awareness to Naam, the unseen divine power that pervades, that which sustains and connects all creation, reminding us that our physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being are inseparable. As we commemorate the creation of the Khalsa, we are reminded that ours is an enduring mission to realize human dignity through self-reliance, justice, service with love, and seeking collective welfare. True progress is both economic and technological, but measured through seeking effective flourishing of all. To tackle inequality, any policy should call for the transformation of values, status quo, and shaping through our relationships and social structures. Regarding persistent and deepening health inequalities in Birmingham, the Nishkam Healthcare Trust combines medical professionalism with a spirit of seva or selfless service to develop integrated and holistic health provision for the super diverse inner city neighborhood, placing virtue-centered care at the heart of well-being. In Handsworth, disparities are among the most severe nationwide, with high deprivation, limited access to primary care, and reduced life expectancy. The Nishkam Healthcare Trust demonstrates how faith-based organizations can help transform communities through preventive integrated care that seeks core virtues as foundation for personal and communal health. Compassion reduces loneliness and supports mental health. Humility builds trust. Service strengthens social bonds. Only with these values can institutions sustain true well-being. The Nishkam Healthcare Trust, a recent recipient of the King's Award for Voluntary Services, conducts regular health education events and screening programs and offers Macmillan cancer screening, start of life and family supportive services, mental health counseling, and vaccine delivery through its 2 Nishkam pharmacies, which to date has administered over 50,000 COVID-19 vaccinations to undeserved groups. With improved early detection and support for vulnerable families, there have been some clear gains in the community well-being. However, ongoing challenges include limited NHS commissioning support, short-term funding cycles, and weak government engagement with grassroots providers. Looking ahead, priorities must include expanding diagnostic and preventive services, securing a GP contract to develop an accessible local surgery, strengthening mental health and family support capacity, and advancing an ethos of holistic, integrated care. Long-term success requires urgent wider systematic change by working more collaboratively with community and faith-based organizations. Government and its health authorities can deepen their social reach. Lasting impact very much depends on accepting dire inequalities, sustained funding, equitable resource distribution, and authentic partnerships built on mutual respect. As we celebrate Vaisakhi, may the Khalsa ideals remind us that in serving others, we honor the divine within creation. In upholding equality, manifest the Guru's vision of justice and dignity for all. May this reinforce our continuing resolve to challenge injustice and inequality wherever it exists, building a cohesive society where all, regardless of background or circumstance, have equal opportunity to live with good health, dignity, and hope. May we continue to transform faith into active love and service in the spirit of oneness, shared flourishing, and ever-ascending optimism and hope. Thank you. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Hi, can I get you to introduce yourself and what you do?
Hi, my name's Rena. I'm a mental health therapist and I work within the Asian community, really.
So tell me a little bit about what kind of work you do around health inequality within the Asian community.
So I find that within our community, we don't really seek help as much as other people from other backgrounds. Try to really promote it by getting that to gurdwaras, to local services, to try to tell them the importance of just talk therapy and seeking the help that they really need.
Why do you think there is a problem? Is it because as a community we don't speak enough? What is it more that we need to do?
We don't speak enough. That's the first thing. There's a lot of shame associated with some things that might just be daily issues, but we end up overthinking it and not talking about it to anyone because of the shame of trying to deal with it yourself. So it's really trying to encourage people to just find safe spaces to talk, really.
And in terms of today's event is Vaisakhi, is there a message that you would like to give to the community?
Vaisakhi is all about equality, it's all about bringing people together, it's all about being one, and I think therapy, and especially like mental health and inequalities, is we shouldn't have that judgment towards other people. We should treat everyone like one. We don't know what anyone is going through, their battles, so let's just be kind, let's just support one another, and just help everyone in whatever way we can.
Thank you so much. Happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you too. Happy Vaisakhi.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to thank you all for making your way through the tube strikes and making your way through the heavy traffic and also standing. And I understand everybody's getting quite tired as well. So I'd like to introduce our last speech for today, which is our British Sikh Consultative Forum representative, Miss Gurinder White.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the British Sikh Consultative Forum, we extend our heartfelt thanks for joining us here today at Vaisakhi 2026 event in Westminster. This evening, we have come together to focus on a deeply important and timely theme, health inequalities. It's an issue that affects communities across the UK, including our own, and one that requires continued dialogue, collaboration, and action. Your presence here demonstrates a shared commitment to addressing these challenges and working towards more healthy outcomes for all. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our sponsors, Sonia Kumar MP and Mike Wood MP, for their support in making this event possible. Sonia, your dedication to public service and your engagement with our community are truly appreciated. Our extended thanks to your team, whose efforts behind the scenes are so appreciated, for bringing this event together. The number of women Sikh MPs is increasing in Parliament. You do us proud. We're deeply honoured to have the event hosted here again at the Speaker's House. Thanks to the Right Honourable Sir Lindsay Hoyle MP and to his team for their professionalism and warm hospitality in welcoming us again in such historic surroundings. No gathering is complete without delicious food, and we are delighted to have been catered for yet again by the Punjab restaurant. Our sincere thanks to Amrit Maan and his team for providing such wonderful hospitality this evening. It is much appreciated and enjoyed by all. We thank the Gurdwaras who co-sponsored this event. They include Guru Amar Das Ji Gurdwara, Southall, Sri Guru Singh Sabha, Hounslow, Medway Towns Gurdwara, Rochester. A special thanks to Kulkiran Kaur Jagdev, who managed this event this year and worked tirelessly. She's an inspiration. Thanks to Dal Garewal, who has coordinated the volunteers to make this event run smoothly. Finally, thanks to all of you, our guests, speakers, volunteers, and supporters for making the time to be here. Your engagement, insights, and continued support are what drive the work of the British Consultative Sikh Forum forward. We hope this evening sparks meaningful conversations, builds new connections, and strengthens our collective resolve to tackle health inequalities in our communities. Please do leave the rooms promptly and carry on networking outside this space. Thank you once again for being here, and we wish you all a safe journey home. Happy Vaisakhi. Vaihguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaihguru Ji Ki Fateh.
And I just want to say, just thank you so much for supporting this event. You know, without you, we cannot be able to. I can't do my job. Without everybody here, we can't move forward. So I always say to every single person that I come in contact with, your journey is connected to my journey, and it's allowed me to grow. And I wouldn't be able to be here and be the first MP in Dudley to stand, the first ethnic minority to stand in the whole entire borough to be elected in Dudley, if I didn't have all these people supporting me to be able to do it. So I stand on the shoulders of multiple giants, and I'm so appreciative of this. I'm appreciative of you for supporting this event today. Please take as much time as you want to network and eat some lovely food. And I just want to say thank you so much and have a really safe journey home. Vaisakhi
All the way from Manchester and
जी मैं हूँ अफजल खान मैं मैंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हूँ तो मैनचेस्टर विच बड़ी खुशी है इत्थे आए हैं स्पीकर हाउस इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्लेस है और खुशी इस डबल हो रही है कि वैसाखी बनाई जा रही है तो साडा भी मुल्क है ये तो साडा काम बनता है कि मेन जगह ते पार्लियामेंट विच इस तरह के त्यौहार नूं करना चाहिए तो बड़ी खुशी हुई अपने पंजाबी भैन भाइयों नाल वेल डन
थैंक यू तुसीं एड्डी दूरों चल के आए आ मैनचेस्टर विच भी ਇਹੋ ਜੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਆਬਵੀਅਸਲੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਹੈ ਇੰਜ ਹੀ ਮਜ਼ੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅਸਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਪੰਜਾਬਤ तो दोनों पासे लैंदे ते चढ़ते पंजाबी इकट्ठे कीते सन जिहदे ईद दी सेलिब्रेशन भी ऐसी वैसाखी दी सेलिब्रेशन ऐसी सो ईद वैसाखी मिलकर बनाई सी
full inclusion and equality and diversity and that is the theme of our evening this evening so I'm going to ask you just a few questions regarding equality health inequalities. So in Manchester, do you feel that there are areas of deprivation and there are health inequalities and how do you deal with them?
Well, I think there's no doubt in Manchester there are areas. Poverty is the key. Wherever you have the poverty, then the other indicators will follow. And the health included their inequalities. So what we really need to do is make sure that there are better fundings, better trainings, better awareness.
Absolutely.
Prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
So the more we can do to get the community involved, living a healthy lifestyle, the better it is. मैं चेयर करना parks and green spaces as well. Again, जरा मुश्किल नज़र आती है कि साढ़े अपने ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਪਾਰਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਅੱਛੀ ਹਵਾ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਕੋਹੀਜ਼ਨ ਡਿਵੈਲਪ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਗਿਲਦੇ ਹੋ ਸੋ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਵੀ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਡੂ ਲੋਟਸ ਆਫ ਥਿੰਗਸ which helps people to get a healthy life.
So providing the opportunities to enhance their lifestyle and well-being, mental and health well-being. Well, thank you very much for the information and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Sir Stevens. Thank you for coming today and thank you for inviting us to Parliament House. Wonderful atmosphere here.
It is a wonderful atmosphere.
Are you enjoying yourself so far?
I'm delighted to be here and it's something we do every year. I'm enjoying being here very much. I'm just listening to Pat McFadden, who's the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions and who I think started
He did start
tradition.
it and I used to MC with him right at the beginning.
Did you? Okay.
And now he's got a higher position in Parliament.
And so he must have started this how
about
many
10 years ago?
About 10 years ago.
I've been going here for 10 years, so yes. But lovely
so it's
having
become
you.
an important tradition for
It
Parliament
is,
to be able to celebrate in this
Vaisakhi,
way.
and it's very important for us to celebrate that. But just regarding your constituency, East Ham, a very multiculturally diverse area, our main theme is health inequalities today. How are people coping with the digitalized system of making appointments? Because we have come across people just not digitally aware.
I think that's true. I think there are lots of people, including lots of Sikh families, who are very, very adept at handling all the tech that goes with that. But for some, particularly for older people, it's much harder. And digital inclusion is an important priority for this government. I was talking to Liz Lloyd yesterday, who's the minister responsible, and we recognise that there is a big job to be done to make sure that everybody can take advantage of the opportunities which the technology increasingly is making available.
I mean, there's lots of organisations, there's adult learning centres, all of them try and teach those courses, but it can become quite challenging. So what we need is something that's almost contextualised to the health service and teach digitalized programs in that context.
Yes.
So they're aware of how to make appointments and don't have to wait for a long time.
No.
So in terms of funding for the areas of deprivation, how are health inequalities met there?
Well, there's a number of programs. I'm very pleased with, for example, the fact that NHS waiting lists are going down.
Good.
That benefits all of us, and not least people living in areas like the one that I represent. But we are also seeing investment coming through for areas like mine. It's just been an announcement of what's called Pride in Place funding for part of my constituency. And there's a place called The Centre in Church Road in Manor Park, where separately an announcement has been made about a big NHS investment in that. So just step by step, I think we are starting to put right some of the problems that have developed over the last few years, but there's a great deal more to do.
There's a great deal more to do, and I think even the museums around your area, they do put awareness programs, but some of them are don't have enough funding, so they're limited. So in terms of funding, that becomes quite a restriction, doesn't it?
Funding is certainly a challenge very widely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that, and it's a pleasure having you.
Thank you for supporting the event after all those years.
All those years, it's still coming.
Very much.
And do enjoy the rest of your evening here.
Thank you.
Welcome to our event, Vaisakhi. Happy Vaisakhi to you as well.
Sat Sri Akal ji, thank you for having me.
ਹਾਂਜੀ, and ਤੁਸੀਂ introduce ਕਿਹੜੇ ਦੀ constituency ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ?
ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਜਸਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਅਟਵਾਲ from Ilford South, East London ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਆ, Barking ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ, Barking ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ, Seven Kings. Lived there for 55 years of my life now. And it's nice to be able to grow up and represent the area.
Absolutely. With being such a multiculturally diverse area, it's very good to know that somebody from our community is representing so many people from the area. But our main theme today is health inequality. So how do you access data or access what's happening, the current status of health inequalities in your constituency? How are you made aware, or do you actively go and approach organisations? How is that done?
I think before I became the MP for Ilford South, I was the leader of the council for 10 years. And what we did was we gathered the data from multiple organisations. And since I've become the MP, what we've done is we've run 2 or 3 events here. And we're very lucky in the sense that we have got people in the community, people who are PhD students, people who are doctors, people who are committed to health inequalities. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we highlight the issues, whether it's breast cancer, whether it's diabetes or heart conditions, because, you know, as Asians and particularly Punjabis, we're 40% more likely to be at risk. For that reason, I think one of the things that we're trying to also push through is the SIKH tick box in the census, so that we can record the data in a much more meaningful manner. Because when resources are given out by various councils, we don't actually fit into any tick box. You can either say British Asian, you can either say Indian, you have various others, but you don't have Sikh, because as the ethnicity, what we're saying is there are certain diseases which impact us more. And what we want to do is make sure that we get identified, so when resources are given, that people of Sikh faith can be identified, they can receive the help that they need early on. So there's lots of little initiatives, but at the moment it is potluck because we are trying, but there are so many people who do slip through the net.
And it's really good to know that such research is taking place, that you're trying to meet the gaps and identify there are certain diseases which are more prominent in the Sikh community. So that's really good to know. In terms of mental health and special needs awareness, how are your programs meeting the needs of the young people and the children in the area? Is there policies and procedures in place that you can maybe talk to us about?
Yeah, I think the council has really reached out to a lot of the people there. But once again, if we want to talk specifically about Sikh children, they again do fall through the net simply because they're either not identified, they're not picked up. And if there is something more specific, because Sikh children, whether it be bullying, bullying or whether it be something to do with school-related issues. It's difficult to pick up at the moment. And again, I think being aware that there is a problem is very, very important, and that's what we're trying to do. We know there's a problem, we need to find the fix. And the only way to find the fix is to really address the issue of recognition.
And also denial. We do come across where there's a lot of parent denial, and making people feel aware that it's okay, there is help available. Mental health illness can happen anywhere and to anyone. So I think the work that you're doing sounds really good.
Yeah, I think we've got to overcome the stigma as well, because I think that's a major sticking point. Isolating and highlighting the problem is half the fix, and if we can do that, then we can find the cure. And I think too many people are still stuck with that stigma, and we've got to overcome that. And I think that's a cultural shift that needs to happen.
Absolutely.
And we've got to keep working away. It's not a silver bullet, but we've got to keep chipping away at that.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, and happy Vaisakhi to you again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've been coming for years, yes?
Yes, we have. And to be honest with you, I just want to say on behalf of your army, I'd like to say happy Vaisakhi to all the brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much.
You know, and to be honest with you, and the committee for organising such a fantastic event.
It is a wonderful event, a yearly annual event, isn't it? Thank you so much. So our main theme today is health inequalities, and just inequalities, inclusion, and diversity. So in your opinion, being in the army, being recruited in the army, how can you tell us something about it? Like in terms of equality, your access?
Yeah. She's actually a GP.
I'm a GP,
You're
so
GP.
that's up
Wonderful.
my road.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I think health inequalities are becoming more and more apparent, and there's been more light and attention on them, and the army and the military world, like tri-service, is not something that's kind of has missed that. So we have a lot of people, different societies that have come about, like neurodiversity, like all of different types of people that are slightly disadvantaged are being helped, and there's more research going into females and children and
mental health, special education
everything,
needs,
everything that's in the common society we are doing as an army as well.
So within your army, you get access to some very good health, right?
Yes.
So you're quite...
I would say we do.
You do.
Because
So
I'm a GP, I'm a bit biased.
Yes, that's fine. So in terms of being a doctor and from the National Health Service as well previously, did you find that there was enough support being given to special needs children, or even, for example, people from our cultures who don't understand the language, they don't know how to express what illness they've got, and they'll just take a packet of about 100 tablets and that's fine,
Yeah.
But how is that?
I think the problem is the resources. So yes, we have every kind of want, and we try to help people in those situations, but we just have a real lack of resources, and an aging population and lots of different comorbidities. So we try our hardest in the NHS, and we also try really hard in the army world as well, the military world.
Yes.
But we could do better. I definitely do agree with that. We need to highlight it.
And what I would say is about equal opportunities. The army is the armed forces is the best equal opportunity, because we treat everybody equal pay, equal rights, so everybody, and we've got the first female general. So equal opportunities is very, very strong within the armed forces.
You've got fully equal access to all facilities within the army as well.
We've got a 24/7 confidential support line you can call anytime.
Okay, that's really good to know.
And we cater for all faiths.
Yes. Very good, thank you. And I think the skills that you've brought into the army is, it's probably highly commendable. So well done for that. Thank you for attending, and thank you for being a part of Vaisakhi. Happy Vaisakhi. A pleasure having you here, and it's a wonderful event that you initially used to organise with us, but obviously with your so many commitments in Parliament. But thank you anyway. I just wanted to... Our main theme is health inequalities right now. Can you highlight some of the areas of how that's been addressed within policies and procedures in health inequalities, say, special needs children, access to schooling, access to, the right resources and materials for them to progress in life?
Yeah, I should say, first of all, it's a great pleasure to be here to celebrate Vaisakhi in Parliament. I used to organise this event. This year I'm here as a guest.
We used to MC together.
It's nice to be here as a guest.
Yes.
Look, I am Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, and at the heart of our work is trying to make sure that everyone can participate fully in society and in work if possible. So trying to close the disability employment gap and giving disabled people the help and the platform to work if they can is a really important part of what we do. So I think this year's message about that is a very fitting one, not just for the Sikh community, but for the country as a whole.
Yes, yes. In terms of areas of deprivation and how much access the elderly have because they have problems making appointments on the digitalised system, is there work being put on into that? Because they do miss appointments, they don't know how to make appointments. Is there extra work being put into identifying their...
Well, one of the things we're trying to deal with, my colleague Wes Streeting, is this 8 o'clock in the morning scramble for appointments, which I think no one really loves. I don't think the doctors love it because it's sort of cramming everything into that moment of the day. The patients don't love it because it is a scramble. And so I think that if we can sort that problem, get more access to GPs, and I think that will be fairer for people as well. So it's really important, however the health service is organised, that it's available for everyone. It is, after all, the National Health Service. It's a basic part of the UK's fabric, so it's got to be available for everyone in every part of the country.
And I think raising that awareness of how to access the service on the digitalised platform, which some people, and maybe extra funding towards people learning how to use the digitalised system. The
digitalised system can be really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the NHS app, I think, can grow into something really powerful. If you take a very simple example, if someone goes for a blood test, in the past they'd had to ring the GP surgery to try and find the result. That's more work for that surgery. Now the result, straight onto the app. You can find out without having to make that phone call. It's less work for the GP surgery, it's faster for the patient. So I'm all for the app. I think it's a tremendously powerful tool. Of course, if people need help in using it, that's great. But I do think the application of technology in the NHS can be a really powerful tool for all of us in the future.
Great, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure having you here, and have enjoyed the rest of your evening.
Thank you, and happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹਾਊਸ ਵਿਸਾਖੀ ਮਨਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਐਂਡ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਾਰੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਕੀ ਕੰਮ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਵੇਅਰ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼?
So basically from last 5 years when we started during COVID, ਸਾਡੀ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ www.walkforsahibzade.com. So it's a social media campaign how we started. ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ COVID 'ਚ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, so we encouraged people to go to the park because going to park was allowed and remember Sahibzade and their shahadat in a different way. So it's a more active participation. So we decided 22nd December to 27th December, 5 days. So you divide the history in those 5 days. Like 22nd, we always say it's a courage. 1.25 lakh se ek ladau the walk hai. So you remember your courage. And then second day, Parvar Vichoda. So you remember your family, walk with your family. And then third day, we divided like faith in humanity. So basically, where one side we say Gangu Brahman, the other side Moti Ram Mehra. So it's not a faith which is bad, it's people behavior always. So you should have a faith in humanity that someone will be a useful or a helpful person always around.
Irrespective of their creed, culture or background.
Caste, color or creed, so anything. And then, so then the fourth day we again remember with the Dumalai because Mata Gujri, she beautifully done the both Sahibzade ki aaj सूबे दी कचहरी लगनी है तो उन्होंने सजा के भेजना. And then the last day is the Shahadat Day, the 27th. And 27th we do walk from London Eye to Trafalgar Square. So we finish in Trafalgar Square every year. So from last 5 years we are doing that walk. So walk, the intention is it's a base minimal exercise and any health condition can still allow you to walk. And we have an inclusive walk. So my son, who is a wheelchair user, so he leads the walk. So it's a wheelchair friendly route, what we always find. So it's an inclusion, it's a basic exercise, And now, after COVID, now it become an active participation for the kids.
Amazing.
So they, rather than a passive listening to
kept
Gurdwara,
it going.
they're
Kept
doing
it
something.
going. Yeah, that's amazing. So, different ages come, the elderly as well.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Exactly. Everybody can. We focus on the kids because it's again Sahibzade were from 5 years to 18.
Yes.
So that's the age group we are definitely focusing. But elders, definitely they have to bring the kids.
Wonderful example of inclusion and equality. Thank you. And would you like to say a few words?
हाँ जी ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਵਾਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਆਲਮੋਸਟ ਹੁਣ 6 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੇ when we started it was the idea obviously came into the covid ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ we were not allowed to leave only the families were there and we were allowed to go to the parliament to the park and ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ 6 of us our team basically we sat down on the Zoom call so what can we do because we have different sort of skill set in the team so we started building a website without meeting each other so first year nobody met anyone none of the team members met anyone the whole campaign was done on social media through through our website first year we counted 2.5 million steps worldwide so from Canada to Australia to other parts of the world even Kashmir people started walking last year some of our volunteers actually went to Egypt on their holidays so this does not give you an excuse I know it's a Christmas holiday time but even when you're on holiday you can still remember Sahibzade you're still with your families you can still do a walk with Sahibzade
Great idea.
It's an idea.
What's your organisation called?
It's called Walk for Sahibzade
And
based in London but again we are global so
it's a collaboration platform.
It's a collaboration
it's for everyone.
So
great
website
thank
is
you
called Walk for Sahibzade as well.
Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the evening and happy Vaisakhi to you. Thank you. Welcome to our Vaisakhi event. A pleasure having you.
Thank you. I'm Dawn Butler. I'm the Member of Parliament for Brent East and I want to wish everybody in Brent, all the Sikhs in Brent, but also in the UK and beyond a very happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you very much. Our theme for today is inequality, health inequalities. Can you shed some light on how this is being addressed in your constituency in Brent Cross?
Well, we're looking at different types of foods and cultural foods and also the hearing and listening to people. So sometimes when people from the Sikh community might go and talk about an issue or problem to them, it's not considered or taken as seriously as others. So all of that awareness and cultural awareness is being embedded throughout Brent and the NHS system. And I would say to people to absolutely speak up, but if you're in any problems, to find an advocate that will do that for you as well.
Great, thank you. And how do they address the digitalized issues of not being able to access, especially the elderly, when they can't access the health services? Is there something being done to address that in the sense of making appointments? Not everybody's, very good at the app, for
I mean, there is in very various ways, there is like a digital divide. Unfortunately, that is the way it's going, but there will always be options for people to access healthcare, and if they have to have an appointment with their GP, go to their GP and get the GP to help them take them through the process. And that's really, really important because nobody should be excluded from healthcare.
Okay, great.
Happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you, and thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Lovely to have you here again. Welcome to the Vaisakhi event, and I know you've had a very busy day, and you are very busy.
Yes.
So, happy Vaisakhi once again. Our main theme today is to address health inequalities. Can you tell me, in your area from Birmingham, how do you access that data of the health inequalities that exist?
Yeah, firstly, can I just say Vaisakhi Ka Khalsa, Vaisakhi Ki Fateh, and to all of your listeners and viewers, a very, very happy Vaisakhi. This is the birth of the Khalsa, so really significant for Sikhs. I've been running a campaign for recognition of Sikhs and Jews as ethnic groups. That matters because the very thing you talk about health inequality, at the moment none of our data is collected because the NHS or health does not use religion data to collect data. So we can't even direct services when we know we've got diabetes, liver disease, heart disease, which is prevalent in our communities. None of that can be addressed or directed because all public bodies only use the ethnic category to deliver services, and that means Sikhs and Jews are pretty much invisible, and yet we have lots of health inequalities and issues, and so this is why this campaign is so important, because fundamentally it's about equality and being recognised.
Yes, and different faiths. So do you think that category of not other, there is other of those categories, but do you think there will appear a category with Sikh on there?
Well, look, what we're saying to the ONS is give Sikhs and Jews the option to tick Sikh. You can tick whatever you want. The other category doesn't get, unfortunately, even though 100,000 Sikhs ticked other and wrote in Sikh, and Jewish community did the same. That is not what they use
it's
to.
Not good categorization.
No, and that's really a shame. So the whole campaign is actually about making sure we're visible to policymakers and those that are delivering services. That's really what the basis of the campaign is.
That's great. The other issue just quickly wanted to discuss was in terms of special needs and young people's mental health awareness. There are a lot of children who get missed either because they're not able to access the health service, or the assessment period is quite a long period, or in some cases where there's parent denial going on. So raising that awareness that it's okay. Is there sort of something in place to raise the awareness that if there is an issue, please come forward, please step forward, and we can help these children?
Look, every local authority has a public health duty to make sure mental health is delivered. We have mental health support workers in schools. This is part of the Labour government initiative. I know Gurukars also do lots of work on this, normalising actually many families where children have had mental health have been coming to the Gurukar as a place of sanctuary and support for them. So that's very, very positive. But sometimes we know people need more specialised care, and you should really speak to your local authority, invite them into your Gurukars, and let the Sangat know what exists locally. Really, really good provision in Birmingham, for example, through PAWS, 0 to 25 offer. But we can't just have people signposted to sit on another waiting list. We do need to tackle this issue. And this Labour government is really trying to put that support in at a community level.
And hopefully reduce the waiting time. And issues can be addressed earlier than later. Great. Thank you very much for your valuable time. And happy Vaisakhi once again. Thank you, Preet. Thank you.
So my name's Nikita Thacker. I'm currently at Ernst & Young. I work in accounting. And my mum's a Punjabit Thacker, which is why I'm here.
Okay, you look very similar to her. No wonder, I was thinking, I think you look like someone. Tell me a little bit about the work that you do.
So I'm currently in audit, which is quite exciting. So I'm specifically in CAS, so we check client assets are segregated from client money.
It's Vaisakhi, obviously we're celebrating Vaisakhi. What's your message to the community?
I think it's great to be here as a woman. So I think it's a massive Sikh principle, and it's really great to see how many women are here, especially my mum being a Punjabit, and it's really good.
Happy Vaisakhi.
Happy Vaisakhi.
Nice to speak to you, thank you. Could I just get you to introduce yourself and what it is that you do?
Well, not a lot. My name is Vivian Weinman. I used to be the president of the Board of Deputies of British Jews, but I've retired. I've long since retired from that. I am currently a member of the Board of Deputies, and I'm the chair of a commission set up by the Board of Deputies to look into the inclusion of children who are neurodiverse or have learning difficulties. And I was very interested to hear the Sikhs, how they're coping with that issue in the Sikh community. I have a son myself who is neurodiverse, and he's got quite severe learning and social problems. So I'm interested to see how other faith communities are dealing with the issues. So it's
Well, we're actually, the subject for today is actually health inequalities, and we're speaking to a lot of the MPs. So what would you like to say about health inequality within, like currently for yourself? Have you faced anything where you feel things could be done better? If you could tell me a bit about that.
Well, we've got there's an awful lot of work to do. We have traditional attitudes, particularly with mental health, and particularly with children neurodiverse, have sometimes been quite unwelcoming. And it's difficult for the children who often, when they go to houses of prayer, their behaviour is not necessarily easily conducive to, they're often not very quiet, and they sometimes make a noise, they sometimes don't understand what is happening. And sometimes, like with my son, they find the noise in the house of prayer quite difficult for them to, because they have sensory amplification, so they have their problems. But we've seen a lot of progress being made. And the experience we've had has been so much better than the experience of friends of ours who are much older. So we're going in the right direction, but there's still a lot of work to be done. But it's an important part is the parents and the carers have to be looked after, because the parents undergo a lot of stress. That is our experience. I was very fortunate. I've got a very, very, very supportive wife. But many couples find that their marriages come under stress and they themselves find life difficult. And we've got to find ways to incorporate them. And it's right across the faiths. A neurodiverse child is going to be a neurodiverse child, whether he's Jewish, he's Muslim, or he's Sikh. For all of them. So.
But I do understand, because I'm a carer to my mum who's got blood cancer, and I understand how in the system that we currently have there is no support for carers, and actually you end up doing the job of what probably lies with somebody else. We probably do the job that the NHS, the carers would probably do, so we're doing their job unpaid. And actually I do feel there's a lot of inequality around that, where a lot of work needs to be done around carers.
Yes, people need to understand, one rabbi put it, that these carers, they make up for nature's parsimony with their own boundless love. And it's lovely. I mean, you see wonderful people there. And I got drawn into this whole area before I was married, before I had children, because they organised challenge events and they were fun, and you meet wonderful people. And then I have children, and one of them is neurodiverse, and you meet people, and it raises your spirits, and it makes us better. We learn from them. So I think I have two girls who are very normal, and they've learnt from their brother, and they've learnt from the way we treat their brothers. But it's right across the communities. Jew or Sikh, there's no difference there. They have
we are all one.
Yes, in that respect.
Happy Vaisakhi from the Sikh community. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
My name's Taryn Wright, and I am from Liver Swaps, part of Nishkam Swaps. We're basically bringing out free liver health checks to the wider community.
Why do you feel that there's a need for you guys to do that when we obviously have a government and an NHS in place? Tell me a little bit about that, because today's topic is around health inequalities.
Well, liver health isn't a priority from what I've seen anecdotally within the local community. So I'm not really sure why it's not a priority, but we as an organisation feel the need to go out there and remind people that their livers need looking after too. So one way of doing that is by bringing in a free FibroScan, which is a special kind of liver scanner, out to the public and getting people to get their livers checked.
How do they do that? So if anybody obviously is watching this interview, how can they get in touch? What is it that it involves? How long does the scan take?
So we're starting to roll out. We're going to integrate with some NHS pathways in the coming months. But the liver scan itself is non-invasive. There's no pain associated whatsoever. It's a 15-minute process. You lie down on a bed, reveal your abdomen, and you have this probe put on the side of your ribs, and it'll measure two things, liver scarring and how much fat your liver has. And once you have those two values, you can go and take that to your GP and further discussion if there's any problems.
What does it show though? What does the scan actually show? What is it that people, if they were to get this done, why is it so important for them to actually get something like this done?
Well, to be honest, most liver disease is symptomless. You may not know that you have liver disease. And so it could be silent for a number of years before it becomes problematic. And so we're really about preventative care. If you go out in public with the FibroScan and you get the two values, how much scarring there is and how much fat there is, it's just a good discussion, starting point for your doctor and yourself.
If anyone wants to get in touch, how can they do that?
Go to the website www.liverswap.org and you can contact me directly or the wider organisation, or also Nishkam Swaps.
Okay. Thank you so much. Happy Vaisakhi.
Happy Vaisakhi.
So, Mum, I want to ask you a little bit about health inequality. You've obviously been diagnosed with blood cancer. Was there anything that you felt could have been done better with your situation, knowing that you were misdiagnosed for like 5 months?
I think so. They should have done some more blood tests, which they didn't do. I left it too late, and by that time, but it was too late. Anyway, they just recovered it in the end, so I'm okay now. I've recovered.
But how did you find the way that they did deal with your health? In terms of when you went in to see them, they did obviously misdiagnose you, and they kind of fobbed you off, saying you had old age.
I know. I think the thing with them is they have so many patients. They don't have time for the patients anyway. So that's why they say, oh, it's just simple, I know, old age or arthritis. I wish they had more time, or maybe I think there's a shortage of doctors and nurses as well in a way, and that's the whole reason.
What would you say to others of your age that maybe are going to the doctors themselves, haven't got children to go with them, might just be fobbed off, the doctors won't even listen to them? What would you say to people out there who are unsure about maybe getting a second opinion? What would you say to people?
I think they need to get a second opinion. Also, if they don't get no answers proper for doctor surgery, try to go to the NHS PALS and complain about that. Through the PALS complaint, you will get some response, and that can help as well.
So you're in remission, you're 75, and you're going to be doing the London Marathon. How do you feel, and why are you doing that, and who are you trying to inspire?
Well, I'm trying to inspire all my age women. I mean, age is only a number, so please do some form of exercise. Don't leave it till last, and also think of keeping your health healthy, because you don't want to depend on your children. There's more burden on them in a way. So please look after yourself, eat healthy, do some exercise, and meditate, and I can't put a word now.
That's okay.
Just remember your goal all the time.
How do you feel about doing the London Marathon?
Oh, I'm excited about that. I love the hustle, bustle, the music, everything really, or by London to Marathon.
What's the one thing that's going to help you through?
My meditation and my faith.
Well done to you. Hats off, and I'll see you at the marathon.
See you soon. Take care.
Good evening to you, and thank you for coming to our Vaisakhi event today. Are you having fun? Met a lot of different people from different areas. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yes, absolutely. So my name's Elliot Vanstone. I'm the Senior Mission Advisor for the Catholic Bishops' Conference of England and Wales, and as part of my job I advise the Catholic bishops in England and Wales of interreligious dialogue, ecumenism and evangelisation.
Okay.
Thankfully some of my work involves working with amazing Sikh colleagues and being invited to fabulous receptions like this one, so very grateful to be here.
Fantastic. And how do you promote the inclusivity and equality with different religions, bringing them together, more of a cohesive approach? How does that work?
I think one of the main aims is firstly understanding that we're all different in our own separate and beautiful ways, and actually once we can move past that and realise what we actually agree on, so principles of peace, care for creation, all things like that, working together we have a thing in the Catholic Church called Catholic Social Teaching, and one of the we have a number of principles such as care for the common good, care for creation, preferential option for the poor. These aren't values that are just solely Catholic, these are values that all faiths agree on and all faiths can work together for. It's agreeing what we disagree on, but finding also what we can agree on and working together for that goal.
Okay, do you find that there's a lot of health inequalities going on? Are you identifying that need amongst the people and the communities you work with?
Of course, I think there's a real poverty and understanding of peace in general, and I think there's a real poverty and understanding of where we can work together, and a real lack of belief that one person can make a difference. And I think the main pillar of interreligious dialogue is one person entering a place of worship that isn't their own can go miles and miles to improving the relationship between faiths, and I think that's a really important message to put home. Obviously it's unbelievable watching the current Pope Leo doing amazing interfaith work, and even our new Archbishop of Westminster, Archbishop Richard Moth, doing great work. But even a lay Catholic going into a Gurdwara or a Sikh coming into a Catholic church, little things like that can make a huge difference.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, and happy Vaisakhi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jiki Fateh, happy Vaisakhi to you.
Happy Vaisakhi to you and the Sangat as well.
Thank you for coming here tonight. We just want to know a little bit about the work that you do. Forest Gate, is that right?
That's right.
Yes.
So in Never Gurdwara, Ramgarh Gurdwara Forest Gate, we run a health and wellbeing clinic.
Okay.
Every 2 to 3 months, we run by the Sangat, for the Sangat, sort of health and wellbeing clinic, where we have an open sort of clinic run by healthcare professionals, by pharmacists, nurses, dietitians, GPs, physiotherapists, and we have a very sort of simple layout where they come in, they get registered, we do their height, weight to calculate their BMI, and we do waist circumference.
Okay.
They move on to do blood pressure. We do their cholesterol testing as well, point of care testing, so they get a whole lipid profile.
Okay.
And then we move on and do a simple 2D ECG. And after their results, they have a piece of paper where we document their results, and they can discuss it with one of our healthcare professionals, which either might be a GP or a pharmacist. And we sort of give them guidance as to how they're doing with a health profile, what they're to be concerned about, and what more they can be doing just to keep on track with what they should be doing. And I think it's bringing awareness to the community, particularly to our Sikh community, to be mindful as to those numbers, which we don't always consider or take care of. Many of us, we've been given medications, but also we don't know what to be taking them for or why they're so important. And as we age, as we go through life, it's just been reinforcing that with our members of the community to make sure that they know why those medications are there.
That's really good to know. So do you have follow-on appointments or follow-on sessions for them?
That's what we're trying to
with
create.
Kind of patient records in a way, like not quite a doctor's surgery, but still
So
raising
when there
awareness.
comes a clinic, the onus is on the individual to take it to the GP surgery and follow through with it. But for those which have a clinical concern, we do follow up with. But that's how we're trying to create a pathway with our NHS colleagues now, that if we have a really big concern for somebody, we could direct them or refer them straight into the NHS to be followed through with as well.
The other issues we've been discussing about tonight is the digitalized platforms. A lot of the elderly who are not, used to technology get frustrated. They don't get appointments. They have to wait on the 8 o'clock queue, like Pat McFadden would say. That queue is, even waiting on the phone is too long. Are you raising awareness as to how to use those apps as well? So it makes their life easier to see the doctor in a short space of time.
Yeah, no, absolutely we do. And I think it's making people aware of those facilities as well with the NHS app.
Yes.
Other sort of facilities in the local area as well, that how they can get in touch with somebody. If there's support, they need more support available for them as well. But also it's about educating and encouraging awareness, because there are things out there, but people don't know about them.
Yes.
So we do sort of create that sort of written sort of literature in Punjabi, even written text in larger formats, so people can read them more clearly.
Yes,
If they get leaflets but they're too small prints, simple things, they can't read it.
Yes.
So we have literature that we provide which are larger formats, also in Punjabi as well.
Fantastic. So you differentiate to the needs of the public that comes to you. Sounds like you're doing a great job. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
And happy Vaisakhi once again. Thank you.